Hi, and welcome to this episode of the DC Life podcast. Today, we're going to chat with someone about something in the life of our church. Welcome back. And today, we have another one of our Getting to Know You podcasts, where you get to hear the faith journey of someone at DC. And today, guess who we've got? Laura Logan. Hi, Laura.
Hi, guys.
Welcome. Good to have you.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Laura, you're a Logan, so you're married to Ben, and you're serving on our youth ministry teams at DC, and you're doing some discipling with a number of our teen girls at church. You sing a bit, and you do other stuff during the week.
Yes, I do.
So
there's a lot to get through, basically.
But wait, there's more. So tell us about a bit about your story. So where does it begin for you?
Where did it all begin? Well, I feel like you've heard a few of my sister's testimonies, and so it may sound a little familiar. But yeah, majority of my childhood I spent growing up in Chua, and yeah, I don't know, I grew up in a very Christ-focused home, what I would have called a normal childhood, but I think the older I get and the more people that you talk to, I realise actually how special and unique my childhood was, and just how blessed it was. We had a very loving home, and Mum and Dad were always just, modelled to us, I guess the Christian faith, and what that looked like, and, grew up going to church on a Sunday, having home groups hosted at our house, going to Sunday school, going to any and every church event that there was, I don't know. So there was just a bit of I don't know, every kind of church aspect in there, but also like being homeschooled. I spent a lot of time at home with my siblings,
And
I loved that.
Was that generally a positive experience?
Yes, it was.
And that would be unique to a lot of other people.
Yeah, most people who hear that you're homeschooled often are like, "Oh, do you feel like you missed out on a normal upbringing or the typical school experience?" And I don't ever feel like I missed out on anything other than bullying and peer pressure and a lot of those things. I think I was really thankful to avoid. I was very shy as a child and am naturally introverted. So I think being at home was just the best place for me to feel comfortable and to learn and to grow and all of those things. So, yeah.
So as you progressed through homeschooling, and you're now a hairdresser, so how did you get from there into the salon?
I don't know. I always loved doing people's hair. Like, had lots of models at home to practice on with the 4 older sisters and Mum. And oftentimes, while Mum was helping with my school, I would be playing with her hair and doing different, I don't know, styles or brushing it or something, just because I enjoyed it genuinely. And I've never been super career focused in that sense, but I knew that it was something that I really enjoyed, something that I liked doing, and at the age of about 13 I was like, you know what, I could do this as a job and get paid for it, and that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And so literally as soon as I could, I was signed up at like 14 and 9 months to go down to the local salon, which is actually the one that's in the same shopping village that DC is, that the church building is on, was where I started as a tea and tidy girl. And it kind of progressed from there. I actually lost that job after a year because they told me I didn't talk enough. I was too shy, and they said they didn't think I was going to make it in the industry because I didn't talk to people.
I was going to say you didn't make the cut, but
there you go.
Well, we're so glad you did, because you are definitely the resident hairdresser of Disciples Church. Yes. I know our entire family has you to thank for all of our hair.
kind of nice to have forced catch-ups with people, like
It
everyone
is,
across
yeah.
the church. I get to.
So you've definitely learnt that skill of, chatting and, working on that side of things. You do it very well.
Oh, well, thank you. No, you can't get me to shut up. It's kind of the opposite.
Are you one of these people that like to hear people's problems when they come in and, get their hair cut and so forth? Like, just listen, because a lot of people, they'll say that, you really open up to your hairdresser in that kind of New York accent, that kind of thing.
Look, it's true. You hear a lot. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, a lot of hard things, a lot of sometimes uncomfortable things that you wish you hadn't heard. But, it's a really cool opportunity that you have, like, to be someone that people feel comfortable talking to. Like, it is one of those places and spaces and relationships that people do just feel naturally comfortable to talk in. Like, I don't know, they're trusting you with something really personal, like in the service that you're providing them, and you're getting up close and personal in their just physical realm, like you're touching them and all of those things. And so, I don't know, I feel like along with that, they're like, well, if I'm trusting you with one thing, I'll trust you with another. And so, sometimes they just want a third party that's able to listen and, to give someone that, I think, is a really cool opportunity.
Very cool.
Can't get much more hairier, can it? But do faith conversations come up? Like, when people open up, does that happen?
Yes, actually, even a fair bit in the last week, literally. I've had a few conversations about that, and whether that's from some people on their own faith journey, kind of being like, well, why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah.
Because it just comes up. It's part of my life. It's, the reason behind a lot of what I do. And other things, like someone else asked me, because he'd just come in and told me about, his mother that was dying, and his father-in-law who was just got cancer and, is about to pass away as well. And there was like a number of things. And he sat there and he was like, gosh, how do you cope hearing all of this and then taking that home? Like, how do you detach from that?
Yeah.
And I was able to just be like, look, to be honest, it's because of my faith. Like, I can give it over to the Lord. I don't have to carry all of that. Like, I like to be able to help people in that way and provide a safe space that you can share. But, I'm able to give that over and trust that the Lord knows what he's doing and is working that out. And so, comes up more than you'd think, actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty good missional kind of opportunity.
It's so great that you get to, talk about Jesus, not just, at church, but also at work. And we get to see, the outworking of that as you, worship on a Sunday, when you're singing and working with the youth as well. But tell us about your journey to faith in Jesus. You said you grew up in a Christian home, very loving, very much, Jesus was a part of that. But when did that become a personal faith for you?
So, as I say, just growing up, there was a lot of head knowledge. There was a lot of tick the boxes in my mind of this is what we do. This is how you, I don't know,
normal
out your weeks, of what's normal. And a huge thing, as I say, being very introverted and shy and very sentimental, and I really loved our home, and home was a really safe space. I'm probably going to start crying. Just wanted to get to know me, so here's a bit of me. A lot of that was really shaken up when Mum and Dad said they were going to sell our house and move to come to Springfield.
Yep.
I hated them for that. And I can remember at the age of 13 storming into Mum's room and being like, how dare you? Why are you doing this? For a God that I don't even think you can prove to me is real. Why would you give up all of this to follow this God that you have a faith in? Anyway. that started.
And that's big for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, that's cool. That's big.
It was like the first time that I think I'd ever been really just outright against my parents on anything, really. And yeah, that started a lot of conversations, a lot of searching. I'm a very logical person. Things have to make a lot of sense to me before I, can actually commit to something. But once I'm in, I'm all in. And so, yeah, I started reading different books that Mum gave me, like A Case for Faith, A Case for Christ. They had like youth versions. And, just listening to different things, talking to different people, because that's right. I was like, I need to know facts. Like at that stage, I was like, no, there needs to be proof. But, there's, Mum also had said to me, there's only so much that can be proved to you. There gets to a point where you have to have faith.
Yeah.
And, just learn to accept, because she's like, there's some things that we just can't prove. And, I can tell you so much, but unless, there's that work done in your heart to actually give you faith, then, we could sit here and talk till we're blue in the face, but, I can't change your heart. And she'd quote to me songs and, one about what faith is, which is to hear with your heart, to see with your soul, to be guided by a hand that you can't hold, to trust in a way that you can't see. That's what faith must be. Anyway, that was really big. And after a little while, it was like, logically this makes sense. I really want to believe. I really want to have faith in this God. And I believe that he is true and real. And so I told Mum and Dad, and we sat at the table and I prayed a prayer with them. And things kind of rolled along, and then it didn't really get very real to me relationally, I think, like to have a real relationship with God until I was about 16, where I had a young lady from church who pursued me. She came and she said, I really want to meet up with you. She's now one of our MCG leaders, and she met up with me. I was like, yeah, please. Like, being number 5 of 6 kids, I kind of was always, I don't know, one of many. And so you were always just put in the gardener basket, and everyone generally thought that you were just okay because you, I don't know, were good morally, and showed up to everything and did what you were supposed to. And she pursued me and was like, no, I really want to get to know you and I want to challenge your faith. And that was really helpful for me, even just in the most simple thing of just the accountability and her just asking, how are you going? And, I would generally answer either good or bad depending on how much I'd read my Bible or, how much I felt like I'd prayed and those kinds of things. And she would always pull me up and correct me and be like, that whether you've read your Bible or not doesn't mean you've actually engaged in relationship with God. Like, he can be working through that, but, where's your heart been with the Lord, and your engagement with him in that way. And someone really challenging that actually was really helpful for me, that it wasn't just about the tick the box, get the reading done kind of thing, and that meant that you were on the right path with Jesus, and that it was more of that relationship. There was that engagement, and I guess the challenge of what are you functionally believing in all of your decisions and the moment by moment of each day, and just, I don't know, growing to understand my picture of who I really believed that God was, started to change in that moment from someone who just, wanted me to be morally good and to do the right thing, but someone who actually wanted to engage with my heart. And that was, really massive. There was a number of things. I can keep going if you want, but...
So who did Jesus become for you? Like, obviously when you were 13, you believed in God, in God's plan. But then when you were 16, that felt different. So how did that change in your mind or in your heart?
As I say, I think it was the understanding that God actually wanted something to do with me personally, not just because I had done good things or because, I don't know, I was good enough or I was worthy of His attention and His love. But the fact that my actions actually wasn't what earned me God's love. It was the fact that He wanted a relationship with me, despite what I'd done, whether good or bad. I think just growing to understand that it was all of Him. It wasn't because of what I'd done. It was Him that pursued me first and Him that came after me and showed me who He was. And I think that was a really big part that changed things. They always, I don't know, I feel like your past and your growing up, has such an effect on either who you think God is or how you engage in different relationships. And I feel like being the youngest youngest girl in the family, like number 5, it was kind of like you had to, be worthy of people's time and attention because you were the young one, everything that I did or said I always felt like wasn't good enough or, it wasn't as smart or as witty or as, whatever as what my older sisters could do or had already done.
I'm with you.
And so it was kind of like you had to prove yourself. And like for them to want me to be here, I need to, be serving them or be doing something that makes them want me to be here. And I think, I carried that over into my relationship with God, being like, well, for Him to love me or for Him to want me to be around or to care for me, I must be performing, but to have that shift of it's not about what I do, it's about what He's done, was a really big eye-opener. Yeah, I think that was something really cool to have change. And then, what that actually then ended up revealing in me was just so much pride that I'd carried, that I was thinking that I had anything worth offering. Yeah. It just revealed actually how stubborn and proud I was, which then made me just feel so disgusted at my sin because it was so hidden. It was so twisted into like every little motivation and every thought that I had about myself towards God. And then I just really hated, all of this sin. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've always thought I was this really good, kind of upright person, but I'm actually just like, my sin is so twisted into all that I do. How sick is that? And so then I was really sickened by my sin in that way and started having all the questions of, well, why would God love me? When I have been just like so, sneaky in trying to, work my way around or think that I'm smarter than Him or anything, which is just so wrong and, led me to actually have to accept what Jesus had done and that His payment for sin was final and complete. I didn't want to accept that because I was like, well, I'm not worthy of this. Like, why would you choose me? I don't deserve this. And so then, there has to be that act of faith of accepting the love that God has for you. And that was really a big change as well.
So you moved from the family home to Springfield and you came to DC from the beginning?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was 14 at the time.
Right.
I don't know if she had a choice.
I didn't really have a choice.
But how was that? Was that positive or was that like freaking you out?
No, it was positive. I really loved the idea of, being on a team, and I was helping serve from the get-go. Like, I actually started doing all the tech work, which is so weird because I'm so not technologically gifted.
That's great.
Oh my gosh, I was thankful when Matthew grew up and took that over me.
Oh dear.
But yes, that was where I started. And, you know, I loved it. I loved being a part of it, being part of the behind the scenes. You got to be, you know, a part of every little thing that was going on. And so, you know, that has always been a really good experience, I think.
And so when did you join the worship team with a microphone?
Oh, to be honest, I actually have never thought about its timeline. I don't know.
But that was after your tech service?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you started in the back room.
It probably was about 18 or 19. So it's probably been about 6 years.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong.
Sounds about
I
right.
actually haven't thought about it. But yeah, it's been a little while. I think since me and Ben have been together, as far as I know.
And then the next ministry that you've been involved with is with the youth, and you've been doing that for a few years as well. So how have you found that, and what do you really love about it?
Yeah, youth ministry I've been doing for longer than worship collective ministry. So this is my 9th year of serving the youth at DC, and that really started for me because someone pursued me when I was a teen, and that changed everything, and I wanted to do that for someone else.
Cool.
And yeah, so I've been there through all of its phases of different things that we've done for youth, whether that's outside in the cage or upstairs doing club or then upstairs just doing for real, and then yeah, as I say, we've done some different things over the years.
And the youth camps too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Going on them every year, and like I do really enjoy it. Like it takes a lot of commitment and hard work and sacrifice, like to be there every single week. But I love being able to serve the youth. Like it's really awesome, the relationships that you can actually just build with the youth by just being there consistently and pursuing them. And yeah, I think for the first couple of years, I think my motivations, there may have been a little bit of, I don't know, just potentially wrong motivations of really wanting to be that someone who impacted someone else's life.
Yeah, sure.
And so I thought that I had to be the be-all and end-all to some of these youth kids. But on the whole, it's been really awesome to journey through. And, you know, some of the girls that are in my discipleship group, my DNA group now, are 2 of who used to be my youth girls.
Yeah.
And just, you know, getting to do life with them even now in more of that peer-on-peer way is really awesome and really special. And so, you know, this year is the first year that I haven't been doing club on the Friday nights. And I've just been running the for real side of it with the kids who are serious about following Jesus and actually have a faith of their own and really want to grow that and invest into that. And yeah, I've been really thankful for the break, I think. At first I didn't know what to do on a Friday night. I was like, I've not had a Friday night since I was 17. Like, this is really weird. But I've grown to so appreciate it and be like, I love that there's a team that's still there, that's running things, that's serving the kids, that's loving them and yeah, ministering to them. So that's been great. And, you know, it's been a beautiful form of even accountability for me and for my faith across all of its different seasons and journeys, I think. When you have to, I don't know, hold other people accountable, or you have to be prepared in what you're working through with them. And
it's always a personal challenge on top of that. Yeah,
I know, you're like, I have to be practicing what I'm preaching. Like, you can't just be saying these things or you know, be telling them all of this stuff. If I don't know, people can see through it if it's fake. Like, it has to be genuine. It has to be an overflow from your own understanding of who God is and your love for him. So, you know, that's been a blessing to my faith as I've gone along as well.
So you sing a bit, you do youth ministry. Do you have any other like passions, either inside or outside church? Like, what else do you like to do?
Oh goodness, I love kids, and I love people, which is a funny mix, being an introvert. But getting to do life with people is genuinely something that I really love to do, and it's always more chaotic and more fun when there's kids around and you get to play with them and build relationships with them. And, I genuinely find that really enjoyable. So a lot of my time outside of work and church is often spent, with different people, getting to catch up and love and serve them. And, vice versa. It's that's really cool. But I don't know, as I say, I'm a homebody, so any kind of sitting at home with a cup of tea, puzzling or
with Ben,
reading.
Obviously.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Ben too. He's much more extroverted.
We've saved the best for last. We haven't asked about Ben yet.
Yes, Ben, we didn't forget about you.
We better ask though, when and where and how did you meet Ben and then come to be married?
We met when we were about 17. He came along to DC towards the end of grade 12, and I saw him but didn't actually ever speak to him for a long while because I was the only young girl his age, and I was like, this is going to be way too obvious if I say anything to him. So I kind of avoided him for at least 6 months, I think, before we met. And I don't know, we got on really well in a genuine just friendship way, to be honest. I'm sorry, Ben, but I wasn't actually attracted to him when we first met. That wasn't ever really my motivation. I kind of was like, he's really nice and I really like him as a friend, but I hadn't viewed him with that kind of, I don't know, intent. And so that, that kind of helped things a lot, I think, because it meant that I was just really relaxed and comfortable around him, because I was like, I don't have any ulterior motives. We can just be good friends. I don't have to act a certain way so that you like me, which, led to some pretty hairy conversations because I'm a pretty straightforward kind of person. And we were very young, and I was like, well, why are you doing this with your life? And what are you doing? And
excellent,
anyway,
though.
I know. I was like, I don't know why he ever liked me, but anyway, the Lord's plans, everything worked out. We were put in the same MCG, and I got to really see his heart through that. It was a very small group at the time, and so we did all in kind of Bible studies, and he was really starting out, I guess, his own personal faith, and just was so humble and honest and would ask the most beautiful, simple questions. And I can remember being so shocked by it, because I was like, I would never have asked that question in front of people, like growing up in a Christian household, like you're supposed to know these things. Like, even if I didn't understand them, I wouldn't have asked, because I'm like, I'm supposed to know this. Whereas he'd just come right on out and ask. And I loved that. I was like, gosh, that's such a humble thing to do. But he genuinely just wanted to know the Lord. And that actually was the first thing that I really loved about him. And things grew from there. We started dating just before we turned 19. And we're engaged 12 months after that and married 6 months later. So
beautiful. Things
kind of moved along. But as I say, we had such a friendship foundation that as soon as things got started, like we knew each other very well. We were very open and honest about a lot right from the get-go. And so it just meant that things moved fairly quickly from then, because, when you've got that foundation, it just makes the rest of it kind of easily fall into place, I guess.
That sounds good.
We've been married for almost 5 years, so
wow, time
there
flies.
you go. I know.
There you go. Well, Laura, it's been lovely chatting with you, and
Very cool.
Thank you for being open and honest and vulnerable with us. And we know it's been a blessing, so we've appreciated you, and thanks so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Laura.
If you'd like more information about what's going on at Disciples Church, check out our website or email us at podcast@disciples.org.au if you have any questions or feedback. Thanks for listening in. We'll catch you next time.